All right, the odds for the national championship in 2023 are out, and these are just general odds. I'm not going to name anyone who they are. TCU is one that jumps out to me at plus 6,000, which is a tumble for the Horned Frogs. Maybe not a tumble for coming into a new season. Georgia's sitting at plus 300, which is the highest odds of anyone out there. They have double the odds of Ohio State to win the national championship. I do, again, I guess I'm going to keep saying it until it happens, but I do think Ohio State will win the national championship with Ryan Day at some stage. They just did not this year by a play. But so it goes Georgia plus 300, Ohio State's at plus 600, Alabama and SC are both tied at plus 700. I would not be surprised if that's your playoff next year. I would not be surprised by that. That would not be shocking at all. Um, I think the Michigan odds, who are at plus 1,000, by the way, the probabilities of these are, with Georgia at plus 300, that gives them about a 25% chance of winning the national championship, which is not bad coming into the season. 14.5% chance for for Ohio State. Alabama just right behind them at about 13%, them and SC. Michigan, once you get, to Michigan and beyond, it really kind of drops off. Plus 1,000 is you're looking at 9%. Clemson at 1,500. I have to tell you, I think that's a major sucker bet right there at 6.5%. Texas at plus 2,000. That's a sucker bet for sure. The one team I think you could get some value for is LSU at 2,000, plus 2,000. That's about 5%, just like the other guys I've been talking about, them and Notre Dame. The challenge for everybody sort of after the top four is, in the case of the top four, you're talking about, two SEC teams who have been very powerful and have won the last three national championships. Um, but I'm enough of a believer in LSU and what Brian Kelly has done. You can see that they are putting it together. The question is how long it will take for them to put it together. I'd be remiss if I didn't add that Double Dogs is out. You can order it. The link is right down below. Stick with me. If you order now, I will give you some confetti from the game. Now, if you've already ordered, don't worry. You're going to get your confetti, but I will give it to the first. I'll give it until I run out. I don't know what that's going to be, but my guess is it's going to be around 1,000. I'm going to be out of them. So I've got a lot of confetti, and it could be yours. It smells. I'm not going to lie. It's not so bad that you wouldn't want it, but pick it up. Pick this up today. The link is down below. Again, once I run out of confetti, it's over. Like if you have ordered, if you were number one in the line, you are getting it. I'm talking about everybody else here. Now, my suspicion is once we get to about 1,000, we're gonna be done. We're not that far from 1,000, so go ahead and get these ordered today. Double dogs. I'm just gonna tell you too. If there's a lot about the Ohio State game in here, that was a massive, massive game between the two schools. There's going to be a lot about Tennessee, Georgia, a lot about Ohio State, Georgia, a lot about TCU, Georgia. If you're wanting to read about Georgia, Georgia Tech, this is probably not the book for you. Then again, if you're wanting to read about Georgia, Georgia Tech, you might be stuck in the 80s. So probably time to level up your game a little bit. I think when you start talking about these odds, Clemson's too high. I'm just going to tell you that straight up right now. Plus 1,500. I mean, that's ridiculous. I don't know that they get out of their division this coming year. Florida State could certainly stop them, but even if they don't get out of their division, I don't know that they beat South Carolina on the road. There's a lot of issues with Clemson. Having them 1, 2, what is that? There's someone that's just ordered a book. They get confetti. Having the Tigers at 2, 4, they're at 6th. That does not match reality. Okay, I would say the same thing about Texas. They should not be in the same. I mean, they're not there. So Penn State at 3,000 plus 3,000, Tennessee at plus 3,000, Florida State at plus 25. I mean, my suspicion is that one of the top five that we've discussed is going to win the national championship next year, and I would say LSU could certainly do it as well. Um, Anyway, then we start getting down into the numbers here. So Notre Dame and LSU, Texas, Notre Dame, LSU are all plus 2,000. LSU's the best of that group. Now Notre Dame could turn it up a little bit, but I don't know. Florida State at plus 2,500. I don't know why they're lower than Clemson. Just I don't know why they're lower than Clemson. Tennessee at plus 3,000. They get to host Georgia. They certainly could win that one game. The problem with Tennessee is you have to win more than the Alabama game to get it done. They got to play Alabama. They got to play Georgia. Tennessee has a challenging situation and schedule, man. I mean, they could beat Georgia in Knoxville next year. They could, but they could lose that game too. Penn State at 3,000. Listen, James Franklin win the national championship would floor me. It would shock a lot of people. That's just improbable. Oregon and right there with Penn State and Tennessee at 3,000. There's several here: Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not winning the national championship next year. I mean, it's just everybody in there. When I told them the truth about what they were getting into, they got real mad. Well, you wound up 6-6 or whatever you were. I mean, I don't even know. Did they have a winning season in Oklahoma next? You think it's just going to suddenly get better? Um, you, you're gonna have to replace the defensive coordinator, Derek Mason, who has a very good reputation for sure um, as a defensive coordinator. Brent Venables, yeah, they were 6-7. He could be in over his head. He just could be in over his head. It's okay. I mean, he can go back to Clemson. I mean, that was a better combination for them. Talked about Washington. Look, I think they're not going to win the national championship. I think Utah at plus 5,000. That's really good value. I mean, Utah is tough, man. They can really play. I'm not discussing Ole Miss and Texas A&M, but we've gotten to the laugh out loud portion of these bets because Lane Kiffin is not getting to win. He's not hoisting a trophy that matters. Okay, Texas A&M, Wisconsin, not this year, no. And then winning it ever would be surprising, but now I mean, TCU at plus 6,000, Carolina at plus 8,000, Auburn plus 8,000, UCLA plus 10,000, Mississippi State, brand new coach, plus 10,000, Arkansas plus 10,000. Where is South Carolina? South Carolina is at plus 20,000. They have lower odds to win the national championship than Kentucky. Like some of this stuff doesn't really make sense to me. I have to tell you, I see our friends at Missouri are at plus 25,000. Deion Sanders and company at plus 30,000, along with Kansas, Wake Forest, Nebraska, Texas Tech are all clustered at plus 30,000. And we're going to talk. I mean, we're not quite into the off season. Got the parade this weekend. Make sure you're going to Red Zone. Red Zone's got a lot of stuff. Okay, you don't just have to order it online. I'm going to start including links into the videos where you can go to their store. It's down below. You can get DAWGstruction. DAWGstruction. You can get DAWGstruction there too. Actually, and we've not forgotten our friends at DAWGstruction. No, we haven't. It will be very similar. I mean, Double Dogs is going to take a little bit of time for me to get right. I wrote, y'all, I just circled the globe over these last two days because of some of the FAA stuff or TSA, whoever it was, as well as Southwest. And I flew into LAX twice on Wednesday, I think it was. Anyway, excuse me, I flew out of LAX twice, which is kind of hard to imagine. But anyway, Saturday, Friday, those are going to be big days in Athens. Get to Red Zone, get there early, go check it all out. They've got a ton of gear already that's in, but I am going to link for those of you who are not in the state. I'm going to link their store. They've got stuff other people don't have. Okay. And it's neat stuff. But anyway, go check it out this weekend. I do not get paid by Red Zone. That doesn't happen. So I'm saying this because I believe it. So go check them out. But it is a big weekend, and I'll be honest. I think this was one of the best weekends. Georgia did a really good job last year with it. I thought the parade was better than the inside the stadium thing. But after a while, I mean, you've got the governor up there and Jerry Moorhead's up there. Like people don't really want to hear from them. I mean, God bless you, Jerry. I don't mean it bad. But like people don't care what the governor has to say about the football team or the president of the university, but they're dignitaries, so this is what happens. Um, but it is a celebration of Georgia. Last year it was kind of raining a little bit, and the place was still pretty crowded. There's going to be construction because of some of the stuff they're doing on the old press box side, this Georgia sideline. There's going to be some construction in that area, so mind all of that. But I like, Georgia being favored to win the national championship. It kind of seems absurd, and we'll talk about this more over time. It kind of seems absurd, but then when you think about the situation at Alabama, having to replace an extremely good quarterback, Ohio State, same situation, Georgia's going to have to do that. Um, SC is maybe the dark horse of the top because of Williams. He can just change things. The problem is he can't get past Utah, so I don't know if they'll be there at the end of the day. But I Carson Beck has a lot of experience that will help the dogs as they go on. But I think this was I mean, this is just a starting point, and we'll see how these things go. Make sure you're checking out the links below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the website.